य एनं वेत्ति हन्तारं यश्चैनं मन्यते हतम् उभौ तौ न विजानीतो नायं हन्ति न हन्यते. So today we shall be discussing chapter 2, shlok number 19. As you know, Bhagavad Gita is a transcendental divine scripture, and it informs us about the knowledge which is not generally available in this planet. We cannot know this knowledge through our own endeavor by studying this world. So Lord gives this knowledge from His side for our total benefit. So Krishna is explaining to Arjun the qualities of the soul. He informed that soul is very tiny. Soul has consciousness, as because of the soul, the body seems conscious. But in actuality, body is not conscious. As long as soul is present in the body, body acts as a conscious entity. So, in this system, soul is more important than body. As human being, we consider ourselves as body, not as the soul. So our consciousness is lowered. In order to live a real life, blissful life, we have to uplift our consciousness to the highest level. So today Krishna is saying that neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it is slain, is in knowledge. For the self slays not, nor is slain. In easy words, Krishna is saying that soul cannot be killed and soul never kills. So a person who thinks that soul is killing somebody is mistaken, and a person who thinks that soul is being killed, he is also not intelligent. They both are lacking in knowledge about the reality. And why Krishna is saying so? Because Arjuna is in a battlefield. So when an embodied living entity hurts by fatal weapon, it is to be known that living entity within the body is not killed. So this knowledge has to be very, in Hindi we call it pakka, very strong. So how do we experience that? For that we have to perform some spiritual activities known as sadhana. So unless and until we perform some sadhana, some spiritual practices, this knowledge will not stay with us. In yoga system, there is a stage known as dharana. Dharana is a stage when we actually catch the principles in our life. And in bhakti, it is known as nishtha. So first we have to follow some rules and regulations known as yam and niyam. And by following that and following a regulative lifestyle and following food habits and like that gradually and doing some practices, of course, our mind becomes purified and then we catch these principles. So spiritual practices every day is a must to understand Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is understood only by devotees. It is understood in a spirit of devotion. So a person who is just doing many other material gross activities and thinks that he will understand Bhagavad Gita, no, it is not possible. So that's why only devotees like Srila Prabhupada can spread the message of Gita, because they themselves are following it perfectly. You see, living entity has 5 stages of consciousness, and the highest consciousness is Krishna consciousness, which is fully blossomed consciousness. The lowest level is known as a very low level consciousness, which is called as covered consciousness. First there is a covered consciousness, then there is a diminished consciousness. Third is seedling consciousness. Fourth is blossomed consciousness, and fifth is fully blossomed consciousness. So these are the 5 levels of our being conscious. So at the first level, where trees, grass, stones, etc. fall, their consciousness is covered. So they looks as if they are almost non-existent. Their consciousness is like so down. We think they are inert, like plants and grass, but it is, as you know, great scientist Dr. C.V. Raman, he proved it. No, I'm sorry, it's J.C. Bose who proved it. He proved that the plants have life. So he proved that they have consciousness, but their consciousness is covered a lot. So this is the point. And Vedas say yes, everything has life, but they are covered. Then comes the animals, birds, insects, reptiles, aquatics like fish and all. So they have a diminished consciousness. They have, but very, very low. So they know, they have understanding of fear, bhai. They have understanding of hunger, food. They have understanding of sex life. And they do have understanding of rest and sleep, etc. So their level is very low. And then comes the little higher stage of seedling consciousness. Uh, it comes to the category of human beings, and people, those who are having without any morality, uh, an atheistic propensity, and grossly materialist people. They're just concerned with eat, sleep, and sex, and this is what they're totally focused on. So their consciousness is seedling. Of course, they are much better than animals, but they are acting, looks like human being, but not exactly. They have reached to the platform. So in their circle, it is very difficult. They have no understanding of standards, etiquettes of humanity. They don't have a soft corner for things, and they're very abrupt in every action and thinking, like that. I hope you understood the point. The fourth category, where the consciousness is blossomed consciousness, are the people who are theists. They believe in some kind of power, they believe in God, plus they are very moral in their practice, they are very helpful in nature, they are very soft, they are very, integrated character, everything is strong and pure. This is fourth level of blossom consciousness. But with this consciousness also, people are not fully satisfied, fully happy. Unless and until consciousness becomes fully blossomed consciousness, which is Krishna consciousness, is a consciousness of a devotee of the Lord, and a person who understands the relation between God and himself. And that consciousness is actually uh, the fully, happy and bliss consciousness. And when it just engrossed in thinking about the Lord, it reaches to the level of samadhi, which is known as trance. And devotee just lost everything external and just enter into the bliss of that, with God. So devotees do experience it time to time, and it is a great thing. The whole life is actually meditation. Srila Prabhupada says the life of a devotee is 24 hours a meditation about Lord. His hands works for God, his mind thinks about God, his mouth speaks about God, his ear hears about God. Like that, his whole existence is serving the Lord, and that is the real position of a living entity. And it is only in that mentality, that bhava, that state of mind, that he can transgress the cycle of birth and death. We all are trapped in birth and death. and we are trapped in the bodily level of thinking. But when we practice this spirituality, practice the devotion to Krishna, then we just cross it so easily. Just like a child crosses a small road, and it's become very easy. So one should surrender to Krishna. One should understand these concepts and start practicing in daily life. And bliss is very near to all of us. So have faith, have the zeal and enthusiasm, and practice spirituality boldly. Do not shy. This is not to showing somebody that we are better. This is a natural tendency of loving everybody in a right state of mind and achieving the highest result of or this human life uh, perfectly. So with well wishing, I stop here today. We'll discuss it tomorrow. Hare Krishna.